Welcome to this video review, and today I'm going to go through the features and talk about ERA-TAC tactical scope mounts made for AR rifles. We call them cantilever mounts because they have an offset towards the target. The reason for it is that when you're mounting them on an AR rifle, it's easier to get the proper eye relief with a scope with mounts like this. Because honestly speaking, you know that the receiver on the AR rifle is quite close to your face, and the buttstock is or the stock is usually a shorter one, so you need to move the scope forward. And we are talking about quick release mounts, which are quite rare in this category, to be honest, because majority of mounts in this category are just fixed like this. And we do have a separate video about fixed mounts of this type. But let's talk first about ERA-TAC in general. So ERA-TAC is a brand owned by Ricknagel, probably the biggest European producer of scope mounts. But I would say that still, more than half or maybe even majority of all the mounts they produce is meant for hunters. But their ERA-TAC line of products, it's very famous and gained a lot of popularity by professional users. So professional users, the military and the police all over Europe are using their mounts quite a lot. They're made in Germany, fully everything is made in Germany. They are located in Bavaria, even though before the Second World War they were located in the East Germany, but then they moved after the Second World War. They use really high quality aluminum alloy for all of their products. They're not stating the exact alloy, but you can be sure this is aircraft grade material, and there is 10 years warranty on all of their mounts. Honestly speaking, we are selling their mounts already for 10 years and we didn't have a single warranty case yet, so they might as well give 100 years warranty and it would be the same, because honestly speaking, their mounts don't fail. At least to our experience, they don't. If you had a different experience, please use the comments below and tell us about it. The ring design on these mounts is normally 50-50 split, horizontal split, and the rings are 25 millimeters wide. So there is really a lot of contact surface between the scope and the rings. ERA-TAC does state in their catalog that you can put a small piece of nylon from, let's say, medical hand gloves inside to get an even better connection between the scope and the rings. In our opinion, it's an overkill. Honestly speaking, most of AR rifles shoot 5.56 by 45 NATO standard caliber, which doesn't have enough recoil that the scope would move. And even if you put this on 50 BNG, the scope will still not move. They tested it, so it will work. And you can see how bulky the mounts are. They really grab the scope as they should. Before I speak about the quick release system on them and the differences between first generation and second generation, because you probably noticed that they're labeling this mounts as a second generation, let's go to all the options that you have. So these mounts are made with two different diameters, so 34 millimeter and 30 millimeter. So two different diameters, because also wide angle scopes for AR rifles come in these two diameters. So this is the first. You're able to order either 30 millimeters or 34 millimeters. The second option that you have is the height. So usually these cantilever mounts are always have the same height with majority of manufacturers, and this is 20 millimeters with 34 millimeter mounts and 22 millimeters with 30 millimeter mounts. The BH or build height is from this surface, so the top of the Picatinny rail, to the bottom of the scope, so to the lowest point in the rings. I know that in the US and also some other manufacturers, they use, they use the distance between the top of the Picatinny to the center of the rings. But build height as such, it came to use with hunting scope mounts. And you know that with hunting scope mounts, a lot of mounts have rails So this is the reason why they use the smallest distance between the scope and the Picatinny rail. And not to confuse anything, we use this build height the same. So you're able to use two different heights. You're able to order it with two different diameters and with two different offsets. So this is an offset of 2 inches, 50 millimeters, and you're also able to offer an offset of 3 inches. So a bit more, if you wish. It's like this, yeah? So longer, I can put it like that and you will see it. So 2-inch offset, 3-inch offset. And then you're able to offer it, order it either 20 MOA, so that the scope mounts are inclined forward, 20 MOA, or normally 0 MOA. So really a lot of options. That means that you have basically 6 options for the 30 millimeter rings and 6 options for the 34 millimeter rings, or the other way around. So really a lot of options, and I don't think that any other producer is offering such a wide array of options with their cantilever scope mounts. And you can see here 2 different heights. You can see here, yeah, this is the higher version and this is the lower version. This is also something that rarely anyone else is offering with cantilever mounts. Okay, now we can speak about the quick release mounts. They say, and in my experience it's true, that they are completely repeatable, or how to say 100% repeatable. We know that there is no such thing as 100% repeatable, but honestly speaking, with the accuracy of AR rifles and similar rifles, if we are not talking about bench rest, laser rifles almost, I would say, those which are really accurate, you will not notice the shift of point of impact. So the repeatability is good enough that you will never notice a shift of point of impact. You're also able to adjust the clamping force on this small screw here on top. So on this screw, you're able to adjust the clamping force, and you see with the opening and closing of this, with these levers, you see how much resistance you're getting, and with a little bit of feeling you will definitely set and adjust this clamp properly. Okay, I have to mention also that if you are buying a 20 MOA mount of this type, like with all other ERA-TAC mounts, you have both halves of the rings numbered and you have to match them when you are installing the mount. So you can see here 2 and 2, and you can see here 1 and 1. Together with such mounts, you're also getting these instructions that it's really important to make sure that the engraved numbers match. So it's really important, because otherwise you can damage the scope. Okay, I think I covered almost everything. Now it's the sweet and sour part, where I talk about the pluses and minuses. Okay, before that, second generation and first generation, the only difference is the material of these levers. So these levers are now in second generation made out of aluminum, while in the first generation they're made out of steel. It's a cosmetical difference, even though they are, I think, 35 grams lighter, both two levers. But honestly speaking, when you have a heavy rifle, heavy scope, 35 grams, it's not that noticeable. I do like the fit and finish of the new aluminum levers a little bit more than previous steel levers. If not by anything else, they're never as cold as though that levers made out of steel. Okay, but let's go through the dislikes and likes. So I will first go through the likes. What I really like with this mount is the amount of options you're having. Different heights, different offsets, different diameters. There are really a lot of options. Second thing is that they are really robust. You can see that they are made for professional use, so they will never fail. Also the material used and everything is really great. The universal interface from ERA-TAC, well, ERA-TAC will also use the same. This universal interface by ERA-TAC gives you an option of use a wide array of different accessories to put on top. This is also a big plus. And we have a separate video about all these accessories. It's really worth watching it. These are all the likes. I also like the quick detach mechanism and system because it works. And in my opinion, it's aesthetically nicer than those from competitors. It's easier to go in with a finger and open it. Also, the build quality, fit and finish is just superb. Okay, what about things that could have been done better? Normally these mounts are quite expensive, but on the other side it's understandable because they're made for professional use and they're really made in a way that they will never fail. I also think that for some users they will be too bulky because a normal sports shooter will never need this reliability and this robustness that a professional military or police user will need. So keep in mind when you're choosing the scope mounts if maybe this is an overkill for you. I also think that they are quite heavy because of this reason compared to other mounts which are more even if you compare them against ultralight versions of ERA-TAC mounts, they're really bulky and they still take all the material out, but they're still quite bulky and quite heavy. And that's about it. There are not many other dislikes and there are not many other areas where they could make them better. All in all, if you have any kind of special need, if you need something a little bit different and so on, ERA-TAC is here to cover your needs because majority of other producers just have one single mount in this category, but ERA-TAC has, like I said, 12 different options for you. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If I forgot anything, if I did any mistake or something like that, use the comments below. If you have any kind of video requests, also use the comments below. And please subscribe. It really means a great deal to us.